Yo YouTube, what's going on? AJ here, back at it again with another video. And in today's video, Kuro Games decided 2 minutes ago and just that night to drop Camellya's weapon. That's right, we're going to be talking about Camellya's weapon. We're going to be talking about, is it broken, is it worth pulling on, or should you skip this weapon? Is it really bait? We're going to get that all to you guys, but first and foremost, if you like the content on the channel, make sure you hit a like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you guys so much for the support. We're trying to be a top Wuthering Waves creator in the space. Thank you guys for everything, keeping the lights on this channel. Without further ado, let's get into the video. So obviously Kuro Games decided to drop two things. They showed off Camellya, obviously her art. They showed off the basically Ascension materials, but I'm pretty sure most of you guys have either looked it up or farmed it by now at this point, and I'm sure a lot of y'all are ready to pull on the character. But now comes that final ingredient, so to say, and is it worth pulling on Camellya's weapon? Now 2 minutes ago, as you guys can see, we got post lament anthroponcy, sorry guys for pronunciation, weapons red spring. A Camellya bud silently unfurls. As promised, she holds the infinite world in bloom in her palms, where fine crimson vines twine around her fingertips. The dull ache like the sand scorching against the heart is proof of your fateful encounter. I'm sorry guys, I don't know why the hell I'm tripping out right now, but as you guys can see, this is the weapon design right here. 5 stars. So it's a red sword. So yes, it is a sword, just like two other swords that we're going to talk about with this sword. It's called Red Springs, 5 stars. Obviously has a nice sleek design to it. I really like it. It seems like it more so matches Camellya's, kind of like, I call it like the destructive side. That's what I'm coming off as. Obviously a little bit of lore right there. A Camellya bud silently unfurls. As promised, she holds this infinite world bloom in her palms. Where okay, so that's the same thing we read earlier. So okay, so now that we have the design, let's talk about what it does. So as you guys can see, attack, crit rate. Okay, attack and crit rate. This is going to be very, very interesting, and this is an interesting conversation because of this part right here. We're going to get into it, but obviously the rank right here, so level 1, so increases attack by 12% when dealing basic attack damage. The wielder gains 10% basic attack damage bonus for 14 seconds. This effect can be triggered once per second, stacking up to 3 times when the wielder's concerto energy is consumed. Again, 40% basic damage bonus for 10 seconds. This effect can be triggered once per second and ends when the wielder is switched off the field. So you have the Ascension materials right here, but this and this. So let's talk about this weapon, for example, right now. Currently in Wuthering Waves, as I recall, you have 2 other weapons, and we're going to talk about the other 2 weapons. And why don't we just pull them up? So as you guys can see, we have Blazing Brilliance, we have Emerald Genesis right here. We're going to talk about these 2 weapons alongside this. But do I think Camellya's weapon is worth it? Now, on one hand right now, we have in this sense is that the attack and crit rate are obviously going to be good, because anytime you can get crit rate or crit damage on a weapon, I feel like it's a huge bonus, considering that your substat rolls are RNG, and sometimes you get echoes where you have one or the other and you're like, damn, I really need that other stat right now. I need either a bunch of crit rate or 20%, or I need 20% more crit damage to boost the character up to take it to the next level. And I feel like this, for this first aspect, is good. Now, the issue is going to come from when we talk about the other weapons. The weapon skill right now that I see for her, it's basically just tailored to her kit. You know what I mean? Is this a good weapon to pull? I think the one thing you have to talk about with yourself is whales, I know, are going to, and some of you guys who are light spenders are going to pull a character's weapon based off of drip. I know this because I've seen it in the comment section before, and you guys have acknowledged it, and that's perfectly fine. If you have the cash, guys, if you like the character a lot, want to play with her at her maximum potential with the stuff like that, go ahead. This weapon is nice and cool, and it definitely does boost her up for sure. However, I would say though, this weapon I'm probably going to skip on her. The only reason being is because, guys, when you take a look at the sword and the crit rate and the attack, the issue that I have, at least on my account, is while this is going to be her definite best in slot, it's just the fact that you have Blazing Brilliance and Emerald of Genesis. And let's even talk about before we get into Blazing Brilliance, let's talk about Emerald of Genesis real quick. Emerald of Genesis right now is giving you 587 attack at level 90, 24.3% crit rate. When we look over here, the crit rate and the exact, the exact same right there. So from two fronts right there, guys, it's definitely practically the same in terms of value right there. Where the differences are is the fact that, you see the passive right here increases energy regen by 12.8 when the resonant skill is cast, increases attack by 6%. What I find so interesting is that I don't think if you're a free to play or even light spender, this weapon is completely worth it when you have another weapon that's a stat stick, right? That's doing just as good of a job, if that. You know what I mean? It's kind of like right now, the way I would compare the weapons and how I'm telling you guys, it's almost like imagine a new iPhone comes out, right? This is kind of like, hey, I don't know what iPhone we're on, so let's just say 16 or something, right? The Camellya's weapon is essentially the iPhone 16 while you have the iPhone 15. It's like, why are you going to upgrade to the 16 right now knowing that 17, 18 are going to come out and they're probably going to be something better? A little bit of a weird analogy there, but definitely what I think. And also the other thing too is you're getting energy regen from this weapon as well. I just feel like as though Kuro Games, like, it's kind of there at a point where weapons we talked about, if you have a one good 5-star option for that class, like Yin Lin's weapon, guys, I think your pulls are more suited to go grab Yin Lin, because Yin Lin's weapon is another universal stat stick that's been very good. And if this is kind of showing me the direction weapons are going in Wuthering Waves, and honestly, it's kind of like if you have one good one, right, and a lot of the characters are falling in the same category of sub DPS or DPS, you kind of really don't need their signature unless you really like the character a lot, right? So do I think it's worth pulling Camellya's weapon? No, because you have another option like Emerald of Genesis. But you may be asking, AJ, I don't have Emerald of Genesis, right? So then what can I do? Well, you still have Blazing Brilliance, and that's another one where you're not getting the crit rate, but say you do have enough crit rate on your build right now, you're someone at home who's using Changli and stuff like that. Remember, the tower and endgame modes, you're allowed to swap, like, you only play one side and you're allowed to swap weapons. So the fact that this is giving you 587 attack and you have 48.6 crit damage from this, you're getting attack is increased by 12%. The wielder gains 1 stack of Searing Feather upon dealing damage. Well, we know this is more so tailored to Changli, but I would honestly say this right now, as far as Blazing Brilliance, right, is it's kind of funny. I kind of think actually Changli's weapon is honestly the third best option for her, but it's still not a bad one. This is a solid 8.5 out of 10, 8 out of 10, honestly, of a weapon. So this is kind of like, yo, you have, like I said, if the 16's out, this is your iPhone 14 right here. This one is your 15 right here for her. And then this is basically the new one, the 16. I know, weird. I'm using the iPhone reference, guys. I apologize about that. But all in all, I would say pass. I would pass on this weapon. You have Yinlin and Zhang Liao coming out soon, guys. Don't forget about that. Make sure to get their rerun weapons if you haven't had it, because I think those weapons on those characters are more important than Camellya's weapon. But like I said, whales, you're gonna get this. The guys who like drip, you're gonna acquire this weapon as well. I think Camellya's gonna be a great character. I think Camellya's gonna be a great character without this weapon. I don't think she needs it. I think y'all will be fine. That's it for this video. Please leave a like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you guys so much for the support. I love you all, and I'll talk to y'all next time. Peace.